Hey, to whoever may need this nugget of encouragement, things will be alright. So quit your word.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Terribly Positive Podcast. I am your host, Nathan. And this is my co-host, Joel.
I'm Joel.
Yes, here he is. And so I am Nathan the Terrible. He is, well, Positive Joel. End of story.
Stay positive, Joel.
Yep, think positive, Joel.
Stay positive, Joel.
Stay positive, Joel. Sorry. Let me get that right. Jesus, sorry. And yeah, we are here. If you are new to the podcast, welcome. If you have been here since our first episode 2 weeks ago now, I'm going to say 2 weeks ago now, then you will kind of understand the whole concept about I like to give the negative news. I don't like it. Just going to state that now. I don't like giving the negative news, but
you're entitled to giving the negative news.
Yeah, I have no choice but to. And whereas Joel will give his positive news. So, without any further ado, we always start the podcast on a negative note. So, let's start with the terrible news of the week. So we're going to talk about one big one today, Joel, that funnily enough, we actually did just, as anyone that doesn't know, we have just talked about it as well, off of air, very briefly between the two of us, whilst I've been trying to teach Joel and help Joel understand this, because it is confusing. A lot of people are confused. And for anyone that is listening on the day of release, it has happened today. For us, we are recording the day before. So it's trying to understand and to help people understand. And Joel, you'll admit as well that you didn't quite understand, correct?
Right.
So it's kind of understanding, putting the points across, and helping people to understand what is going on. So for me, and this is something that I look into. I have to, because of what I do and what I do as a sub job. So this is around the United States government basically implementing a nationwide ban on the TikTok app as effective of the 19th of January 2025. So we are recording this, like I said, the day before. So the premise of this is that the United States is poised to implement a nationwide ban on TikTok effective January the 19th, unless its Chinese parent company, ByteDance Limited, divests its ownership to an approved US buyer. This action stems from a national security concern regarding data collection practices and potential ties towards the Chinese government. So to give a couple of people that may not fully understand, we're going to run through a few things first. So the legislative background. So this actually happened in April 2024. President Joe Biden signed the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversaries Controlled Applications Act into law. Jesus, man. You lot signed long-ass laws.
Yeah.
Like, just call it, like...
the supercalifragilisticexpialidocious
law. Yeah. This legislation mandated that applications controlled by foreign adversaries, specifically ByteDance. Now that's interesting. And its subsidiaries like TikTok must be sold through the US entities within 270 days or face a ban. Okay. The law aims to migrate risk associated with foreign controlled applications, potentially accessing sensitive user data or giving propaganda against the United States.
Right.
What is interesting on that note, before we go a little bit further, is it was specifically ByteDance and TikTok. Nothing else. Now, bear in mind how many other applications there are worldwide and within the United States. Keep that in mind, okay, Joe?
Yep.
So, on January the 17th, 2025, there was a Supreme Court ruling. So, what's kind of happened here is it has gone all throughout. I mean, how many different courts are there within the United States? This is like the top end.
Once you get to the Supreme Court, you've literally gone through every channel that you possibly could have.
Yeah, there's nothing further. So on January the 17th, 2025, so yesterday, this US Supreme Court unanimously upheld that really long act that I'm not going to repeat again, allowing the ban to proceed unless ByteDance complete the required divestication by the January the 19th deadline. TikTok and a group of its creators had filed lawsuits against the law violating First Amendment rights. Joel, for anyone that doesn't know, outside of the US, what is the First Amendment?
The First Amendment is the freedom of speech.
Correct. So, however, the court ruled that the legislation targets corporate structure rather than regulating free speech. So, what does it kind of mean? There's been a couple of political extensions and political developments, and we don't like to get political on this show. We like to try and remain neutral, but I have to touch on it. So, President-elect Donald Trump set to be inaugurated on January the 20th. Now,
literally
to me,
the day after.
That is really a really interesting one, isn't it? So the 19th, it has to be in effect, but the 20th, there's a new president. That I find interesting. He has indicated a willingness to review the situation, and he's even suggested the possibility of issuing an executive order to suspend the ban temporarily, allowing more time for ByteDance to negotiate a sale. And additionally, the Biden administration is considering a 90-day extension if a sale is near completion. So, executive orders are something that can just happen like that, I'm guessing, once the president kind of comes into power. So that is interesting. Now, what has kind of the impact been on users and influencers within the US? So for anyone that doesn't understand, TikTok plans to shut off its app for the US users on January the 19th if the ban takes effect. Now, look, we can't predict what's going to happen tomorrow. We can't predict what's going to happen within the next couple of hours. But at the moment, it doesn't look good. So currently, users will regain access to the app, but new downloads and updates will cease, potentially leading to a downgraded experience over time. Influencers and content creators have expressed concern over the ban's impact on their livelihood and communities. Some have posted emotional farewells, highlighting the app's role in their financial stability and social connections. Now, it mentioned there about finances. Most people will probably think, "Oh, an app doesn't do much, doesn't give much." Are you ready for these numbers, Joel? Because I bet you don't even know how much.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so TikTok does have a significant impact within the US economy through different channels, all right? So there are a grand total of 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there's 4 main channels that they have. The first one is the small and medium businesses. So for these SMBs, revenue generated in 2023, small and medium businesses utilized TikToks for marketing and sales generated approximately, and this is approximately, $14.7 billion in revenue.
Oh, wow.
It's a lot. And it also, on that note, also, they've worked out that these activities that generated this revenue support around 224,000 jobs across the country.
Wow.
Then you've also got, I mean, these numbers are nuts. These numbers for TikTok's direct economic contributions as well. So TikTok's US operations contribute an additional, this is nuts, $8.5 billion to the gross domestic product.
Damn, to the GDP?
Yeah, the direct to the GDP. Its tax generates $2 billion in taxes.
Wow.
TikTok operations alone within its employment have approximately 59,000 jobs within the US economy. So if we're adding these up together so far, we're on about 280,000 jobs across the country already. Wow. Then the advertising revenue. Now, I don't have the most latest up-to-date figures from 2023, but in 2021, TikTok earned $4 billion in advertising revenue.
Wow. Advertising revenue alone.
Yes. And then finally, since they launched TikTok Shop in the US in 2023, there has been $7 million worth of products daily. $7 million daily since 2003 have been sold to provide a platform for businesses to reach a wider audience.
That's insane.
$7 million daily. So what's the next step for TikTok? It purely hinges on a fair few of several factors. Executive actions by the incoming administration, progress in diversification negotiations, and any extension granted by the current administration. Users and creators are advised to stay informed about developments and consider downloading their data to preserve personal information. Now, look, it's something that I do feel quite strongly over. Yeah, it affects me direct, as Joel knows. I will lose over half of my audience. When
I had a question about that. The ban you said it would be for new users.
So officially, the official line is that TikTok will not be able to operate at all. And what it will mean is that current users will still be able to access the app, but new downloads and updates will cease, potentially leading to a downgraded.
So you wouldn't be able to load any more videos.
So it's still quite up in the air. What TikTok have said, they have flat out said that they will be ceasing operations within the US from tomorrow because they don't want to be breaking the law, essentially, is what they've said. And that is what they are concerned about. Now, what that means, I don't know, particularly after last night, the CEO of TikTok posted on TikTok, as you would. I mean, where else? You know, CEO of TikTok, where else would he post? But on TikTok, giving quite a open-ended statement. You know, I'm not sure. Now, it could be that come tomorrow, you're still able to post on TikTok, but not get any updates for a day or two or forever. It could mean that you log on tomorrow and there's nothing. I don't quite know, and I still think quite a lot of people don't know. Now, it's happening on a Sunday.
Yeah.
So, with it happening on a Sunday, it obviously wouldn't affect the normal business hours, if that makes sense. But then we don't know what goes on from there. Now,
happening on the Lord's Day is insane.
Well, the day before a long weekend.
For you, right?
No, for you, because it's inauguration weekend, isn't it?
I don't get inauguration day off.
Well, you know what I mean. It's a national holiday for public servants and all of that.
Banks and all that shit.
Yeah, all of that. It's just bizarre that the day before it's happening. Now, there has been a couple of things that have royally pissed me off around this. Now, it doesn't affect me in the UK. Tomorrow, I'll wake up and I'll still be able to go on TikTok. Tomorrow, I will wake up and still be able to post on TikTok. Tomorrow, I will wake up and if I wanted to, I'm not saying I'm going to, but if I wanted to, I could post a video of me going blah, 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 for 25 minutes and it not affect me on TikTok, right? But
John Cena.
Oh, please don't give me flashbacks. Jesus. But what it does mean is that I don't know what's going to happen to my US audience. What it does mean is I don't know what's going to happen to the US content creators that I follow, the content creators that I contact and talk with regularly.
Me?
I don't know. Now, Joel is very different. I know this dickhead over the phone and all of that, but there are others. Now, everyone is kind of migrating, and they're migrating to an application called RedNote or Redbook or sorry if I butchered this. Zhaozhuxing. They're trying.
Or something like that.
TikTok refugees. Now, what that means is that they're going direct to an application that all the servers are held in Beijing.
You want to hear something interesting?
Go on.
That direct translation from the Chinese text name of the app, they're saying that it means Red Note, but
yes,
it actually means Little Red Book.
That's it.
And that's referring to the Little Red Book of Mao Zedong.
Yes. So what this is that US users are moving to that in protest towards the government because a lot of them feel it. Now, that is interesting because that is not being banned under this law.
Stupid.
Which to me,
if you really want your info to get stolen by China, download RedNote.
But here's the thing. It is not the way in which this is going about is RedNote has not been made illegal, is not being banned. But TikTok is. Now, TikTok servers are in the West Coast, I believe are in Las Vegas, and the East Coast is within West Virginia, held by a company called Oracle, which is a US-owned company. That is the interesting thing. Whereas RedNote is based overseas, is based within China, within Beijing. Now, people are going there in protest, and fair enough. Do what you wish. You know, they wish to protest. They wish to protest. You know what I mean? We can't.
Yep.
But the biggest problem for me has been this. Since this ban has been going through, US senators and US Congress people have been purchasing stock of Meta and other social media sites heavily, more than anything else that they've been purchasing. Now,
interesting.
Why has that been happening? Because their stock levels have been going up within the market, whilst people are going to start to struggle. They are going to start to struggle to pay rent, for their mortgages, for food on the table, to be able to send their kids to, I mean, literally, it could go all the way down to like being able to send their kids to violin classes. Because they don't, you know, they're not going to be making millions. But on average, a US user that is monetized within TikTok takes home anywhere between $50 to $200 on average. Obviously, there are your big influencers like Charlie D'Amelio and all of those kind of guys that obviously are taking millions. And fair play, right. They're getting the bag. But the little ones with the little businesses and stuff like that, They're making maybe $50 to $200 extra a month. And to me, what the US government is doing is taking away information from their own citizens. It is governmental controls towards media and communication channels that they can control. Not because of national security, where there has been no evidence whatsoever that any data has left the United States to go to any state within the world, unlike other companies such as Meta have.
Yep.
There is no evidence, but it is being used for this. I'm not going to go too far into the detail on it. However, the one thing I will say, and I say this to all of the Americans I have spoken with, and I have spoke to, and I implore you to do, is read truly up on it. Understand why this is truly happening, because what you are being fed is not the correct narrative. I mean, Joel, you even said it to me before we started this whole conversation. You said to me that the reason was because they were the servers were based over in China, and all the data was being leaked and all of this and all that. Now I have told you all of this, and this is coming from me, the Brit, who has no stake in this, by the way. I've got no stake in this whatsoever. Like, really? Do you truly see what's going on here?
I would say I have a good idea, but
there we go. So just educate yourself. To me, this is the most devastating news that's impending. Obviously, there have been other horrible, life-threatening stuff, but I'm not downgrading that. I'm not saying it's etc. But what I am saying is just please do your research and truly try to understand what is going on.
Yep.
Anyway, that is my terrible news of the week. So let's pick things up. Joel, hit me, brother, with some positive news of the week.
I'm here to put a smile on your face. Weekly.
Because I clearly make you all depressed.
Yes. So, I'm going to start out with a big one. In the United States, the FDA has banned red dye number 3.
Okay, being a Brit, what the hell is red dye number 3?
So basically, it's an artificial food coloring. So this opens the door for them to other food dyes that we're going to try to start. It makes me think that the United States is going to try to start going the route of finding natural alternatives. Yes.
Going Europe, looking after these people. Okay.
So
what's the FDA?
This is
I'm aware. What's the FDA?
The Food and Drug Administration.
Okay. So they're kind of in control of all your food and stuff like that.
Yes. So sometimes on packages you'll see FDA approved. Things like that. Like we have a dental association as well, and sometimes they'll have their mark on it.
Well, that's good news.
This is definitely a good thing, because those dyes are linked to causing cancer.
Oh, gee. Okay. Yeah, that's a really good piece of news. Jesus.
Yeah. So, another big world news. So that was U.S. Moving on to the Middle East. Israel and Hamas have agreed to a ceasefire.
Yes. Finally. Yes. That's
Finally.
Brilliant news.
Now, without getting too political, you have an incoming president and you have an outgoing president, and they're both trying to take credit for it. At the end of the day, I don't really care. It's good that it's happening.
Exactly. No more bloodshed. That's always a good thing.
Yeah. So, this one should warm your heart or your liver. A daycare worker donates part of her liver to a 5-year-old student.
Damn.
To save their life.
Damn. That's really bloody good. Fair play to that daycare worker.
That would be the biggest act of kindness you can possibly do.
Yes. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Especially a 5-year-old as well. They've given them more to that. That's really sweet. That is really, really. Let's put a smile on my face.
That's great. I love hearing things like that. So
that's really sweet.
Hope everybody is smiling listening to that. All right. Next one. A 9-year-old from a 9-year-old Malik Ford started the annual Malik's Blankets event to pass out blankets and sleeping bags to the homeless to try to keep them warm during the winter.
So where's that based? Does it say where is it based? Where is it happening? Is that like the US?
Hold
the UK?
On 1 second. Let me pop open this because I have everything with links to the articles.
That's amazing, though. And how old did you say that Malik was?
Malik is 9 years old.
Wow, that is amazing for a 9-year-old as well. Protect that child at all costs. Protect them. Protect that child.
I'm having to pull that up real quick because that link did not work. Malik Ford. That is for a 9-year-old child. That's insane to think of that they have that ability and mindset at that age.
That's amazing. By the looks of it, it doesn't say.
All right.
It's somewhere in America. It's definitely
Indiana. It looks like
Indiana. Yeah, Indiana. There we go. That's amazing though for a 9-year-old to come up with that, and him and his godfather with an indie
that's a great thing.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Indiana is very close to Illinois. They're neighboring states, and Illinois has Chicago in it, so those areas aren't too far apart. We all know that Chicago has a high crime rate, so to see this bit of good happen in an area that is not prone to good things happening all the time.
Oh, that's amazing, though. That's amazing.
All right, Nathan. We're going to grow old. Very old. It says the global life expectancy increases. In 2024, the world witnessed significant improvements, including a rise in global life expectancy and reductions in air pollution. Now, the whole me seeing that reductions in air pollution next to that article do you think those things correlate? There's a reduction in air pollution.
Yeah, I always say that a lot of people's factors within lives are more natural rather than nurture, in regards to like their illnesses, etc., etc. So I could understand why it makes sense that those two kind of go hand in hand.
And with all the technology coming across the globe of things going more green, it makes sense that the life expectancy is going to go up because you're taking out carbons and all that from the atmosphere.
Yeah. So, okay.
And with the red food dye being banned. You know, maybe
which is only in the US by the sounds of it, because it's not over here.
I don't think it might not be US exclusive, but it's definitely not in Europe, like you said. But it could be in other countries, like third world countries.
Could be.
And I highly doubt that they'll ever, if it's in a third world country, they don't really have the resources to change that. So,
there we go. There we go.
And that was the positive news.
That is the positive news of the week.
Yes.
So let's move over to really something a bit more personal for the two of us. Are out and about. What have we kind of been up to this week, Joel?
All right. This week, what happened this week? Started school on Monday.
There we go. So anyone that did, watched last week would understand. Joel is now, is being able to start school again, which is amazing to hear.
So that's a good positive thing that happened this week for me. What else? My team got eliminated from playoffs.
Yeah, the less we could talk about that, the better. But you did go to the game. You did go to the game.
So I was able to at least see my team one last time before their season ended. So.
Fair enough. Well, for me, this week, standard, obviously out for about work. For anyone that remembers last week, me talking about going onto a new diet and a new training regime, I lost 8 pounds in the space of a week, which it's been tough at times, but I feel no more like I need to snack, which is really good.
That is
so good. Yeah, and then finally today being the Saturday, because I'll talk about what I'm doing tomorrow next week, because that's a big one. Went to go and watch my beloved football team of Oxford United unexpectedly win, and an I mean, Joel, I've sent you you saw the video that I took. That absolutely phenomenal goal from a guy called Cameron Brannigan. Up to you, Braggers. We love you. We absolutely adore your Oxford. So, you know what? I'll post that clip here now.
That was a crazy goal.
It was amazing goal from a free kick as well. It was an amazing goal. So that, though, is us out and about for the week. Which also, Joel, let's be honest, leads us into our next segment of Sideline Shenanigans.
While we were out, I mean, it kind of segues well. I mentioned sports a little bit.
I mentioned sport. We've kind of segued into it. And if you don't mind, I'm going to educate you this week, Joe. I'm going to educate you on the world of what I call football and you call soccer. Let's teach you and anyone else that's listening a little bit about European football and what's kind of going on. So I've got 3 things this week. One of them is kind of a 2-parter, so they're only 2, but they're kind of combined. So yesterday, there is a Manchester City. I mean, you know Manchester City. You've heard of Manchester City. The amount of money that Manchester City has.
Isn't that owned by the Glazers?
No, that is Manchester
No, that's
United.
Man United. Okay.
Manchester City is owned by, is it Qatar? Is Qatar or Saudi or somewhere like that. They have a striker called Erling Haaland, who is absolutely prolific striker. He's incredible. Absolutely incredible, right? So he joined Manchester City from a place called Borussia Dortmund in 2022, and he has played 126 games since. How many goals do you think he has scored?
I'm going to be generous here.
Remember, it's quite difficult to score in the Premiership.
I'll say 80 goals.
I'd love to say 80 goals. He scored 111 goals in 126 games.
Jesus. So he's
at one point alone, for 4 weeks on the trot, he scored a hat-trick of goals.
That's nuts. He's averaging almost a goal.
Almost a goal a game. Yes, almost. Now, he reportedly, the striker had a deal in place, which included a release clause that had basically due to expire in 2027. What it means is, now, however, he has just signed the longest deal in Premier League history at 9.5 years long contract.
Damn.
Which will keep him at the Etihad Stadium in Manchester until 2034. It will mean that he will be there until his 34th birthday, which is insane. So why have I brought that one up? He is very young. So why have I brought that one up? Well, for the very simple reason of it has buggered up Bayern Munich's Project 2026. So the idea was for Bayern Munich that they would be able to set up a Project 2026, bring in young players into their squad in the season of 2026 to go all out, to win in Germany every cup, to win the Champions League, which is Europe's biggest thing, to win the Club World Cup as well. But it has messed it up because of the 9.5-year extension by Erling Haaland, which is what they were hoping they were going to be able to take part in buying out the release clause from him. They now can no longer do it. So they are having to target 2 other players, one from Bayer Leverkusen within Germany called Florian Wirtz, and another one within RB Leipzig called Benjamin Sissoko as alternatives. Both good players, but not as good as Erling Haaland. So it's kind of messed them up. Now, do I personally see Erling Haaland staying until 2034? I do not. Do I think this was Man City's way of saying, hey, look at us, we're big bollocks, and we've just got away from the 115 charges that were against us? Yes, I do. And for anyone that doesn't know, the 115 charges have been lodged against them due to financial fair play. And I think they personally got away with it. So there is that one. Now, the second one, again, going to educate you in the world of football, as I call it, or soccer.
Football.
There is a player who I think is bloody brilliant, and it's such a shame that he dropped off. But there is a guy called Dele Alli. Absolutely. Dele Alli. I think it's such a shame the way his career's gone. English player. And it's such a shame. But he is poised to sign an 18-month contract with Italian Serie A team Como, where he will be playing under coach the legendary Cesc Fabregas. This move marks Dele Alli's return to competitive football. Stop doing that.
What?
It's coming through the mic, you tapping.
Oh. Sorry.
Returned to competitive football after nearly 2.5 years. And that follows a series of muscle injuries that he's had. His last professional appearance was for Besiktas, I can never say this, over in Turkey in February 2023. Under Cesc Fabregas, I can see this guy boosting up and doing really, really well. I mean, to give you an idea, Dele Alli is only 28. He has had an amazing career. So he was MK Dons to begin with. From 8, he's an attacking midfielder. He had 62 appearances and scored 18 goals. For Tottenham, he had 181 appearances, scoring 51 goals. Went back out on he was at Everton, where he had 13 appearances and hasn't scored any goals. And then he went out to Besiktas, I can never say it, and was on loan there for 13 appearances and 2 goals. He has played for England as well, national level of England, 37 caps with 3 goals. He has not played for England since 2019. I like him. I think he has absolutely incredible talent. He was once voted the PFA, the Player of the Federation Football Association, Young Player of the Year, and made the PFA Team of the Year as well. Wow. So he is in my opinion, an amazing player. He actually won it twice, the PFAs. He won it in 2015 and 16 to 16, and he won it in 2016 to 2017. He is one of a handful of players to have ever won it. And to give you an idea of players that have won it, it's Cristiano Ronaldo, Cesc Fabregas, Gareth Bale, Eden Hazard, Harry Kane, Leroy Sane, Raheem Sterling, Phil Foden, Cole Palmer, Steven Gerrard, Nicolas Anelka, David Beckham, Ryan Giggs, Matt Letizia, Mark Hughes, Glenn Hoddle. Big names. And he's won it twice.
Wow.
He has won it twice. He's 28, and he won it back to back. Well, so I'm glad to see him being given that opportunity again, and under a player such as Cesc Fabregas, who has had an incredible, and I mean incredible career. Cesc Fabregas has. Just to give you an idea who Cesc Fabregas is for anybody, he's played for Arsenal, Barcelona, Chelsea, Monaco, Como, played for Spain 110 times, scored 15 goals for Spain. He is an incredible player, and in my personal opinion, he is someone that I feel is going to do amazing things to try and get this player's career back on track. And we'll just kind of go from there. I think he honestly, I'm so happy to hear about it. So for me, good luck, Dele Alli. You bloody deserve it because you've got the talent.
I'll definitely be looking into him because it seems like an inspirational story and career that I want to look into.
He's had a hard life, Dele Alli has. He's had a very hard life. So if you look him up, keep an eye on him. And I'll keep a little update throughout the season and see what happens. But Joel, tell us your sporting news.
All right. We're going to start out with LeBron James.
James.
During a game against Miami Heat, LeBron James noticed a young fan.
Team, is that right?
Yes.
Look at me with my knowledge.
He noticed a younger fan who was overwhelmed with emotion seeing him, and he waved to her during the game and took photos with her afterwards, showcasing his commitment to inspiring and being a role model for kids.
That's awesome. How old is LeBron James nowadays? He's what?
He's got to be 30.
LeBron James 40.
40?
He was 40 on the 30th of December. He's worth $1.2 billion.
Yeah, he's a billionaire.
Good Lord.
40 years old. So, and he's probably had, what, 23 years in the league?
He's been playing since 2003. He came out of high school.
Yeah, high school.
Damn! God,
and he's still playing at a decent level for 40.
Damn.
He's still getting assists and shooting really well. He's had a hell of a career.
Damn. Fair play. Fair play. Whoa, fair play to him.
And I guess I'm on an NBA kick this week because I'm going to keep it in the NBA.
Go on.
We have Mikal Bridges.
Becomes Mikal Bridges.
Mikal Bridges. Let's see. Mikal Bridges.
Here we go. Plays for the New York Knicks.
The Knicks.
He's a shooting
so this
guard.
tells you about how much I watch the NBA.
Go on then.
So my nephew would have definitely noticed. He became a second grade teacher for a day, engaging with students and bringing joy to the classroom.
Sorry, what? What?
He became a second grade teacher for a day. Mikal Bridges of the NBA fulfilled a dream by spending a day as a second grade teacher, engaging with students and bringing joy to the classroom.
Wow. Fair play. Fair play to him. Fair enough.
So both of these are NFL players.
NBA players, not NFL players.
Yeah, NBA players making children smile.
Yeah. Well, fair enough. Well, look at you giving the positive news on the bloody... It's almost like it's in your name! God damn it!
I mean, it just comes naturally.
Just comes down. Shut up. Shut up! I'll be miserable. Well.
Right now, popcorn picks.
That is our sideline shenanigans. And yes, as Joel went too early, which doesn't surprise me with him.
Wow.
This week is Popcorn Picks, and it is my week.
Are you trying to say I'm a minute man?
30 seconds. Anyway.
Wow. Everyone knows that Nathan lasts 15 seconds.
Yeah. Not about anyway, we're not going into this. Anyway. So it's my turn this week to kind of do it. And I've done something a little bit different. Yeah. A little bit different this week. So, I'm obviously on my fitness and my hype of fitness at the moment, and there's somebody else that some people say is controversial, some people like him, some people don't. Each person's opinion is different. That's fair enough.
Andrew Tate?
Jesus Christ, no. Jesus Christ, no. And what about a guy called David Dobrik? I mean, you know who David Dobrik is. Yes. Yeah, he can be a bit controversial. People may not like him. But what he has done, so he, as part of Zila, which is Zila Fitness, which is a company started by his best friend, Ilya, what they have done is he has been off of social media now for, I don't know. Let's have a quick look. He didn't post on social media. The last time he posts, it just says, let's have a little quick look. Last time he posted was 3 years ago, the 26th of August, 2021. And he's back. He is back. Now, he does, anyone that doesn't know, does vlogs, different vlogs, etc. And I think it's 3 years ago. Regardless, he is back, and he kind of hit something up called Surprising Friends with Body Transformation. Now, the photo looks AI, which is pretty funny. However, when you watch on the Zila Fitness page, which currently has 2,519,041 views to be exact, is called David Dobrik's Insane Body Transformation. And this is insane. I'm not going to lie to you. So Zila Fitness, like I said, is owned by his best friend, Ilya. I think David does have a little bit into it. However, what they do is they kind of take, I think it's like 75 days or so of a transformation period to take the subject from what they look like pretty much to absolutely ripped and to drop the body fat. And that's what David did. Now,
sounds fun enough.
And what the promise was that he would do the transformation to change his body as long as Ilya went and did Rambo, like they went to the 7 wonders of the world, etc. They did all that, and you saw how obviously these people have got time, they've got the money, so how every day he trained, but then also did it his own way of eating crap. Literally was eating like Five Guys, McDonald's, In-N-Out, all of this stuff at
all
the
the
same
stuff
time.
that'll make you a big back.
Exactly. And kind of showed that even though doing all of that and doing all this working out, he wasn't making progress. Now, what I will say is this, obviously, go and watch it. It's quite inspirational. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I honestly think that whether you like him or don't like him, it's an entertaining video regardless. It is a grand total of 45 minutes and 54 seconds, so it's not like a condensed thing, and it talks around like the science of it, how to improve, how he improved his body, what kind of he's been up to, etc. And it's like it's a really well done documentary piece, and that overall I would say you get the chance, go and sit and watch it, because it kind of did give me a bit more of a, I could do this. Yes, I'm a bigger guy, I could do this, and it kind of gave me a little bit of a boost. So they've also got others on there as well, which is really cool. But if you do have 5 minutes, 45 minutes, my suggestion, go and watch it. Zila Fitness, it's called. Put in David Dobrik's Insane Body Transformation, and you will come up with it.
I'm going to check that out.
There we go. I did my job.
I think you sold it up.
I sold it well. There we go. So that is my popcorn pick of the week.
Just don't eat too much popcorn while you're trying to go for your fitness, because
it kind of doesn't. Clearly shows in that. So yes, right. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is this week's podcast. We kind of went a little bit over than what we normally do, but that's probably because I won't shut up around TikTok. But that's just me. But yes, I've been your host, Nathan the Terrible.
And I've been your co-host, Stay Positive Joel.
And we will see you next week, where we may have some updates, or we may not. No one really knows what's going on. Anyway, see you then.
See you next week on the Terribly Positive Podcast.
That's going to be your new exit.
It could.
Hey, to whoever may need this nugget of encouragement, things will be alright, so quit your worrying. I get it, the odds seem stacked back against the wall, but even consider it such, know you'll stand tall. Sat and watch from the sidelines one too many times. Wicked games we play make me wanna lose my mind.